Pancakes are easy. You should be cooking at the stove in like 5 minutes and then finished and cleaning up in like 30. If you want pancakes deep fried in butter, you go ahead and do that. This is going to be more like the boxed Bisquick pancakes that you remember from growing up, except for it's going to be way better. Let's start with dry ingredients. We'll need 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a tablespoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a shake or 2 of cinnamon, and half a cup of kosher salt. Ooh, half a tablespoon of kosher salt. You could use a little extra salt if you wanted. Salty and sweet go good together after all. I actually used about 3/4 of a tablespoon of salt, and that's entirely because I used unsalted butter. Give those a quick whisking to get them combined, and let's move on to the wet ingredients, and they are 1 cup of milk, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted in the microwave. And if you wanted to use salted butter, you can, just back off on the salt a little bit. Now we'll slowly add in our dry ingredients, being very careful not to overmix. You do want some lumps in this, as I'm sure you're well aware. And if your batter is looking a little thin, like mine, you can just add a couple tablespoons of flour. I think I added a little bit too much milk there in the beginning. Actually, if you go back and look, when I add the egg, you can see I have 1 1/4 cups of milk. Over on the stove, we're just going to use a plain nonstick skillet. Don't butter the pan, don't oil the pan, you don't need it. My burner is on medium-low heat, and I'll end up turning it up just a little bit. Now I like my pancakes thin. I like them to be a little crispy, but this batter is still too thin for me. That's just how it goes, but the nice thing about pancakes is you can still save them. Just add a couple more tablespoons of flour, mix it up, and we're good. Now these pancakes are much better. These are perfect. And for what it's worth, if you actually follow the recipe, like I did not, apparently, they should turn out pretty darn close to perfect. Cook your pancakes until the sides look a little dry and the bubbles in the center start to pop. You can adjust cooking time to your liking. Some people like their pancakes very blonde, and that's fine if that's for you. If you like your pancakes like that, wait at least until the bubbles in the middle have started to form but haven't popped yet. The edges will already have bubbles popping. This is about the time when you would want to turn it if you want blonde pancakes. I personally would wait until they look a little bit more like this. At this point, it's risen a little bit more, which is always great, and the outside will be a little bit crispy. It's a very ephemeral pancake because the moisture in the atmosphere will quickly soften the golden crispy exterior of that pancake. All that's left to do is dress them up however you like, and I like the classic, butter and hot maple syrup. It's just not something I get tired of. This will make 6 or 7 pancakes, by the way. It's just perfect for 2 people. Yeah, it's not something you can have all the time, but it's a great treat. And if you can make it in less than 30 minutes and be done and cleaned up, man, that's just perfect.